We're going to look at some of the items that you have in your kit, and the tool I'm going to show you how to use is called a wire wrapping tool. And the wire that you can wrap with it is called wire wrapping wire. This is the kind of wire that you can use in your breadboard, and you can solder, and you can plug a, you can strip an end of wire here and stick it into a breadboard or an Arduino, and it works just fine. This wire is a lot thinner. So you can see that the wire wrapping wire, it's kind of like thread. It's really small, very delicate. Your normal wire looks like that. Normally you would strip the wire. I'll show you how to strip the wire wrapping wire. When you're stripping normal wire is called 22 AWG wire. Like 22 is the gauge of the wire. You would use a strip tool like this, and you would strip away the plastic that exposes the metal part that is conductive. So for the wire wrapping tool, we have to use a stripper, but this isn't going to work. This is too big, it'll just cut it. So if we look at the wire wrapping tool, it comes apart like this. And the stripper, the wire stripper, is in the handle. Okay, and you always want to keep it in there because otherwise you'll lose it. And the whole stripping tool turns like this. Okay, so to strip the wire, what I usually do is wrap it around my finger, get this tool, and then carefully start to pull the plastic off. So now I've got an exposed wire. It's very hard to see because it's so small. I don't even know if I can focus on it. I'll try. Yeah, it won't even focus. Oh, there it is. Almost went into focus. Anyway, you get the point. The wire wrapping tool, if you take it out of your kit and look at it, it's got a ridge running down here that the wire fits into. It has a notch along here that you can see it in the light there. It's big enough to put your thumbnail into, and that's one of the ways you work with it. And then if you look at the end, the camera can't go right in there, but if you look at the PDF instructions that I made for using the wire wrapping tool, you can see the diagram shows that there's 2 holes in the end there. And the wire is going to go through the top hole into the ridge. So if you have a look at this one, let me pull it out so you can see it. So now the wire has gone in there. And if I take my thumbnail, I can hang on to it like that. Now if I want to wrap a header pin with wire, I'm going to put the header pin. It's tricky. This is not easy. It's going to take you a few times to get this figured out. It's kind of like learning how to sew, which is tricky as well. But I've got the header pin in there, and I've got the wire wrap is held with my thumbnail, and I start spinning the tool like that, and it wrapped around the post. But it wasn't very good. I'd have to redo that one. But that's the whole idea of how it works. Here's an example I made. This is a project at home I'm doing. I've got black, red, and yellow wires. They are pretty long because it's on a robot arm that moves around. So I need it to be long, and I need the wire to be really light. So you can see I've got 3 header pins here. And the wire is wrapped, and then I've got hot glue connecting the wire to the header pins, right? So the hot glue will make this really strong as long as the connection is really good on this. the hot glue is going to make it strong. So I can pull on this and it's going to hang together. So if you look at the other end, right, I'm using this to plug into a servo motor. So it plugs in like this. Okay. The other end can plug into a breadboard. So if you need a custom connector, you know, something like that, as many header pins as you want to use, and then you can make the wire as long as you want, it's an easy way to do it, fast way to do it. Okay, so eventually you're going to be able to wrap the wire onto one of the posts, and if you do 3 wires, it would look like that. If you did more wires, it would look like however many wires you got. And in my case, I'm using the color to connect with the color coding of the servo motor, right? So that I know that the yellow works, etc. And at this point, you would have the hot glue. The thing, like, this is a little bit strong, and if I pull a bit, it's not going to come off, but it has to be glued. So the black plastic on the header pin, the glue has to cover from the black plastic to the plastic on the wire. And at that point, you're going to have a really strong connection. It's going to look something like this. And if I tug on this, it doesn't break. So if you make a wearable or you make anything that moves, and if that wire tugs, it's probably going to be strong enough because of the glue. The glue gives it the strength. And if you wanted to put another one on the other end, all that you'd have to do is strip that end of the wire and attach it to whatever. Another header pin, whatever you want. And then at this point, you'd want to get your multimeter and test it and make sure. So before you glue it, multimeter, continuity symbol. Let's see if it's actually conductive and working and solid. It's beeping. So this is going to work. It's ready to glue.